Let's take a look at the Chapter 5 practice test. You can't see anything? Oh, because it's got dark on there? Do you have a hard time seeing that because it's dark? Yeah, you got the paper. Can you see that okay? The paper, okay. So you should have the paper out in front of you. You should have your paper out in front of you. You should have your paper out in front of you. All right. You should have your paper out in front of you. I will do this in red. Does anybody have problems seeing red?
Yeah, I'm colorblind.
Seriously? Seriously? All right. Okay. First section right here. This is going to be working with direct variation. All right? Is it a direct variation? The way we tell if it's a direct variation or not, does it meet this criteria? Y equals kx. Can you see that okay? Y equals kx. If we can get the equation in that form, then it's a direct variation. All right? Let's take a look at number 1. And I think I did this with you yesterday. If we take a look, actually I'm going to do that in blue. I think we can see that better. Negative 8 y. How does that look? Can you see that good? It's harder to see? All right, well, we'll write that in red then. Green doesn't work. Yeah, okay. Negative 8y equals 2x. I want to get it so the y is by itself. So whatever we do, we have to solve for y. Okay, yes, Libby? No. Why, do you want to do it? What do you do? Divide by negative 8. That way we get our y by itself. So we divide by negative 8 on both sides, and we get y equals a negative 2/8 x. We can reduce that to 1/4 if we want. Does it meet this criteria? Does it end up looking like that? Yes, it does. What's my direct variation? Negative 2/8, right? Or negative 1/4. So we do have a direct variation, and we can say that k equals negative 1/4. Okay? That would be our direct variation. Let's take a look at the next one. Next one, we have 3x plus 4y equals negative 5. We're going to get y by itself. Subtract 3x from both sides. These cancel. We can divide by 4 on both sides. These cancel. We end up with y equals 5/4 minus 3/4 x. Does that make that? Is that a direct variation? No. Too fast did I go through that?
So if that is a no, you just keep it at that and just write no.
Yeah, we would say no. No. And that's a crazy end. That's a crazy end. Look at that. That almost looks evil. All right. Libby, we'll go slower through the next one. Okay? Let's take a look at number 3. 12x equals 36y. What would I do there, Jade? Up on the board. 12x minus 36. Divide 36. Go divide by 36.
Oh, no, divide both by 12.
Divide both by 12.
Yeah.
What do I want to get by myself? Do I want to get my x by itself or the y? I want to get the y by itself, right? So this cancels out. This is actually 1/3 x equals y. Does that meet my criteria? JD, does it meet my criteria? It does. It meets my criteria. What's my direct variation on this one? 1/3 is my direct variation. Not the x. Nope, just the 1/3. Yep. Yep. K equals 1/3 on this one. Okay, does that make sense? How about the next one? -7 plus 9y plus 7 equals 2x. Who can we pick on? Jessa, what would I do in this case? Well, I've got remember, this is my equal sign, right? So everything's on this side, so I'd subtract 7 and then add 7. What would happen to my 7s? They go away. Right? I'm adding 7, I'm subtracting 7 on the same side. Same side of the equal sign. Well, yeah. We're not in science. All right. Well, yeah, what you're doing. Okay, I've got 7 apples in a basket, plus 7. I take 7 apples out of the basket, minus 7. How many apples do I have left in my basket? How many apples do I have left in my basket? None. That's essentially what's happening here. It's on the same side of the equal sign. This is not, we're not crossing over the equal sign, okay? Well, the positive, sure. Then you would add them up. Yeah, then it'd be 14. So what do I do next? Hallie, what do I do next? I want to get y by itself. Divide by, I want to get 9. Why 9? Because that's the one attached to the y. We want to get that y by itself. So my 9s go away. I end up with y equals 2/9 x. Hallie, is that a direct variation or not? Yes. What's my variation? 2/9. So k would equal 2/9. Okay? Any questions on that? All right, good. Let's take a look at number 5. Y minus 12 equals 12x. Anna, what do I do? Plus 12 on both sides? Plus 12, plus 12. My 12s go away. Y equals 12x plus 12. Is that a direct variation? No, it's not a direct variation. Why? Because that plus 12's on there. What's that? It's 12x plus 12. Can't add those together. Okay? Next one, can 5x plus 12.5y equals 0. What should I do first? Can I divide yet? I want to subtract first, right? What would I want to subtract? 5x, right? Let's subtract 5x on both sides. So now I have 12.5y equals a negative 5x. What would I do next? Divide by 12.5. 12.5, 12.5, y equals negative 5 over 12.5. X, is that a direct variation? And what's my variation? There you go. K equals negative 5 over 12.5. That's my... You can circle the variation as long as you're showing me what the variation is. So I know that you know what your variation is. Or you can write K equals what the variation. So as I know, okay? Get out of the way. All right. Let's take a look at the next ones here. Find the slope and y-intercept. Now, it says graph each equation. I'm not going to have you graph right here. All right. Let's see who's next. JT, what is the slope of this equation? Y equals negative 2x plus 7. What's my slope? JT, we should know this. We should know this. We use what form? Slope-intercept, right?
Y equals mx plus b. So in there, where would your m be? So what takes place in your m?
Negative 2, not negative 2x. My m, or my slope, would be negative 2. Okay? What would be my y-intercept then? 7. Pretty simple, right? Good. Trevor. Sup. Y equals 6x plus 11. What's my slope? 6. M equals 6. What's my y-intercept? 11. Everybody see that? Any questions on that? Skip the rest of them? I think I could probably hit you on one here. Ben. Y equals negative 7x minus 8. What's my slope? Negative 7. What's my y-intercept? All right. Number 5, Libby.
That one's just slope.
Oh, that I don't want to use that. Y equals negative 9. What is it, Libby? What's my slope? 0. My slope is 0. M equals 0, because really we could write this as y equals 0x minus 9, right? My slope would be 0. What's my y-intercept? Negative 9. Everybody understand that one? Number 6. Y equals 1/4 x minus 2/7. Asia, what's my slope? 1/4. What is my y-intercept? Negative 2/7. Nope. Just like it is. Trevor. X equals 10. What's my slope? No. Okay, let me do this. I go up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. I draw a line right there. What's my slope? 0. A 0 slope is when it's horizontal. Undefined. Undefined. My slope in this case is undefined. Okay? That's an undefined slope. Because we don't have a slope. There's no slope. This would be, remember that when we do this, y can be any number, but x has to only be that number. So it's a straight up and down slope. It's undefined. This type of slope is 0. It's flat. Okay? Told you I'd get you. I don't know. Not without help. If we would have went off your first answer, you'd have got it wrong. And your second answer, and your third answer, fifth answer. What's that? No, y is undefined. Or I'm sorry. Yes, y would eventually be 10. I guess it would be an undefined slope, but it wouldn't be. It would be. It's never going to cross the y-axis, right? It's never going to cross the y-axis, so there really would be nothing there. It'd just say undefined, undefined. Okay. Now, this next one here, this next section here, we have to create an equation. All right, we're going to create an equation. We're given the slope and we're given the y-intercept. We use this equation, y equals mx plus b. Right, JT? You know that one? What's that called? Slope-intercept form. Good. All right, Solomon, what would be my equation for m equal -5, b equal -6? Plus, minus. That would be my equation. So all I'm really doing is just plugging those numbers in. Already out? Run down to Travis's and grab a couple boxes. All right. Can we figure this one out? I want this one. Are these pretty easy for everybody? Does anybody have a question on how to do these?
Well, why did we switch the sign?
Yes. Not. You want to do some more? Okay, let's do some more. All right, and this maybe will answer your question too, Jade, why I switched the sign. Y equals mx plus b. JD, what would my equation be for this one here? M equals 1, b equals -4. Equals minus, no, -4, because this is a plus b, right? So if I was going to write this, the way it is, it would be a plus and then a -4 in here, right? Right? Do you see this, Jade?
I got where you got it now.
Okay. It was negative, yeah. So I would rewrite this as y equals, and 1x is just really x, isn't it? And a plus times a minus is a minus, and then our 4. So see how when it was a minus in here, I just wrote it as a -4 before. You see how I did that? Okay, and you see that? All right. Cora, number 9. M equals 0.4, b equals -9. What's my equation? -9. 0.4x -9. See how we did that? All right. Ethan. We got m equals 0, b equals 3. M equals 0, b equals 3. What's my equation? Y equals 3. Is that right? Is that right? Is it right? Is it right? It's not right? Is it right? You don't know? I got m equals 0, b equals 3.
Because 0 plus 3.
0 plus 3. 0, m is 0, so 0 times x is 0, so we don't have to put that in there. It's just 3. Y equals 3. Ah. All right, good job. All right, let's get into a little bit more difficult ones. Okay. Now we're going to have to determine the equation given 2 points. Given 2 points, we find the equation. What's the first thing we have to find? Somebody has to tell me. What's the first thing I have to find? Slope. I have to find the slope. So we're going to use m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Where do you find that in this classroom? This piece of white paper right here with a purple in it. It says slope in pink. That's for Valentine's Day, by the way. Slope. All right. There it is right there. We have to find the slope first. What do we use after that? Point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Is this an important equation to remember? Where do we find it? Point slope form. This one's for St. Patty's Day. It's in green. All right. Lavender. Lavender. All right. What's that? I don't know. It's cold. All right. So let's take a look at this first one, guys. Who are we at here? Wade. What do we find first? What? Got to find m. So what are we going to put in for m? We got -2 or -1, 2, and 0, 0. It's 2 minus 0 over minus 1 minus 0, or x. Okay? So we come up with a -2 over 1, or -2. -2. Okay? So we've got our slope. What do we use next? Wade, what do we use next? We've got our slope at -2. We can put that into here, right? Into where the m is in that equation. What do we use next? Yeah, we can use one of these points, right? Yesterday we used -1 and 2. Let's use 0 this time. 0, 0. Because that's the other point. 0, 0. All right? So we say y minus 0 equals -2 x minus 0. Now these zeros can just kind of go away, and what are we left with? Y equals -2x. And then that would be our equation. Yes? May I journey to the water closet? You may take that journey. All right, next one. Let's see. Let's start back over here. Jade. We have -2, 9, and 1 and 6. First thing we have to find. What's that? Slope. So what am I going to do for my slope? Okay. 9 over -2? No. 9 minus 6 over what? Yeah, -2. What? Minus 1. Minus 1. You see how we set that up, Jade? That's our slope equation. We're using this slope equation. We're subtracting our y's and we're subtracting our x's, okay? And the 2 points. So what do we come up with here? 9 minus 6 is 3. Minus 2 minus 1 is? -3. What's the? -1. So that we have -1 as our slope. Okay? Jade, what do we do next? What's that equation called? Point slope form. So we put it in there. Y minus what? Which point are we going to use? Jade, which point are we going to use? We've 1, 6. So we go y minus 6 equals, what's our slope? Negative 1 times x minus no, we have to use that point. No, not 6. What's our x in this point? In 1, 6. 1. No, she said 9. All right. So this would be, they don't cross out there because we got to multiply them. So it'd be y minus 6 equals negative x plus 1. When I carry my negative 1 through, I distribute it through. Distributed my negative 1 through the parentheses. And then I'm going to add 6 to both sides. Y equals negative x plus 7. That would be my final answer. This is a little bit harder, isn't it? This is the tougher one. Being able to do this is a little bit harder. Do you have to know how to do this? Yes. I am going to have probably 4 questions on the test doing exactly this right here, what you've got on the board. Yes, Asia? It'll be a Wednesday. Yes. Yes, Libby? On the test? Okay. What do we need? We have the 2 points, okay? We have to find what first? Slope. So you use the slope equation, right? Okay, so you know that one. Once you have the slope, then what do we use? Point slope form. And then after that, it's just doing the algebra, solving it. Okay, you're only using 2 equations. So let's go ahead and we're going to do this one here. 12:10 and 16:18, or 16:8. Where are we up to? Jessa. Jessa, I want to know, what do we find first on this? Which one? Which equation do we have to use? The slope equation or the point slope? Slope equation. So we're going to use the slope equation. M equals, you tell me what to write in there. We remember all of everything's x, y, right? And when we look at points, coordinate points, and y is on top, right? Take a look at the equation, y2 minus y1. So which one would I put on top? 10 minus 8, right? Those are my y's. Now what about my x's? 12 minus 16. All right? So we'd end up with 10 minus 8 is 2. 12 minus 16 is negative 4. If I reduce this, it reduces to what? Negative 1/2. So that would be my slope. I now found my slope. Now we use the point slope form, Jessa. Set it up for me. We're going to grab one of these points, either 12:10 or 16:8, and we're going to set this up. Y equals, I'm sorry, not y equals. Y minus what? Doesn't matter which point you use. That's my x. 10. Okay. Equals what? Equals my slope, right? Negative 1/2 times x minus 12. Okay. Let's solve this. Y minus 10 equals negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 times negative 12. What's half of 12? 6. Okay? Negative times negative is plus, so it's a plus 6. Everybody see? What's that? Negative 1/2 x plus 6. Did you see where we got negative 1/2 times x, negative 1/2 times negative 12. Okay. Now we have to bring our 10 over. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. And we end up with, this goes away, we end up with y equals negative 1/2 x plus 16. There's our final answer. See how we're doing that? It's the same pattern, same steps every time. Okay, find that slope, plug all those into the point slope form, and then reduce it down. Okay? JD? All right. We're gonna do each one of them. Let's do number 16. Where are we at? Can. What do we find first, Can? M equals negative 1, 7, negative 4, minus a negative 8 would be plus 8, right? Okay. So we go negative 1 minus 7 is negative 8. Negative 4 plus 8? 4.
Okay.
We got her. What does that reduce down to? 4 goes in the 8 2 times. All right. So it comes up with negative 2. So there's our slope. Okay, now, Ken, what do we do next? Minus. Which point do you want to use? That point or that point? Negative 1? Okay, so minus and minus 1 is a plus 1. Equals, what next? Ethan. What is it? Our slope. Negative 2. X minus, we use this point here, so we have to use that x. What is it? Negative 4, negative times negative is positive, so it would be a plus 4, right? We'd have y plus 1, carry this through, negative 2 times x is negative 2x, negative 2 times plus 4 is, what's 2 times 4? 8 with a negative. Negative 8, so minus 8. We're going to subtract 1 from both sides, and we end up with y equals, this stuff goes away, negative 2x minus 9. There's our final answer. You getting it? Okay, well, you're carrying this through here, right? So negative 2 times that, negative 2 times 4, that's a plus, that's going to be a plus 8, not 6, right? Negative 2 times negative 4 is 8. You're adding them. You got to multiply them. Okay? No, not yet. Sit down, guys. A little bit more to go through. Don't worry. We're going to review all this again Tuesday. Are we good? All right. All right. So this is stuff, by looking at that, I'd say that's something that you guys have to work on. I would take a look at the practice. I would take a look at this and redo it again. You've got a video, obviously, I'm recording right now, that you can use to be able to go back and use it as an example. All right? this part here, is basically what we just did.
That's where you use the T-chart.
This part here is what we just did. We got a point, we grab a slope from it. Okay, yes. Yeah. All right. So you're using a point, you're using a slope. I am going to do this. When we have the test, I'm going to tell you I want to know what the parallel line is and I want to know what the perpendicular line is for this. How do we find a perpendicular slope? Invert the slope and make it negative. If my slope is this, 1, or let's say it's 4, all right, my perpendicular slope to that is going to be 1 over 4, and I'm going to make it negative. If my slope is a negative 2, I'm going to invert that slope to make a, really? I hate it when that happens. To make a perpendicular, slope, I'm going to invert that 1 over 2, and it's negative, right? And now, no, we have to change it to positive. Oh, I'm sorry. If we have, guys, hey, listen up. If I have my slope equal to 1/2, what's my perpendicular slope? Negative 2 over 1 or negative 2 over 1 or negative 2, right? Okay. All right. We will finish up reviewing on Tuesday.